Ayo, I'm Andy, and welcome to the island tour of Stepford, a totally normal NormCore island. The island of Stepford, my attempt to a NormCore island. It is loosely based off of the Stepford wives. Now, on this island, we have a villain, and that villain is Isabel. She wants to curate the perfectly normal NormCore island, down to the aesthetics, the residents that live here, and as going as far as to changing their entire aesthetics and even their personalities. Now, Isabel is not alone in this endeavor. She has recruited the help of the Men's Association, run by Blathers and Brewster, mad scientists using their knowledge of biology and the reanimation of gyroids to construct and reconstruct villagers to the perfect versions of themselves. Now, before we go any further into this tour, let us check out the map. Now, the dream address is on the map at the bottom there for you if you would like to tour this island yourself, and it'll also be in the description. Now, on this island, we have Kit, wife of Mac, Fauna, wife of Raymond, Maple, wife of Marshall, Ava, wife of Goose, Flora, the flamingo obsessed ostrich, and Grizzly, the old cast of Stepford. Now, Stepford as a set of standards and values in this society that are a bit controversial. The men of Stepford must be strong, intellectual, and the primary breadwinners, while women should be beautiful, docile, and subservient to their husbands. And this is in ordinance with Isabel's standards of a perfect society. Now, when creating this island, one of the most normal NormCore things that I required for the island is to have the airport perfectly align with resident services, and it does. And that took me hours, and I'm so absolutely happy about it. Now, in the town center, all of the men own their businesses so they can be the primary earners for their family. To the left over here, we have Goose's gym. Now, the inside of Goose's gym is obviously just that, a gym. He makes sure that all of the women of Stepford keep up their appearances for their husbands, offering personal training to all of the residents of Stepford. Now, outside of his internal gym, he has a spin class for the women. Attendance is mandatory. Everyone must keep up their appearances to continue living on Stepford. And the wives do not disagree with this. The wives have been reprogrammed by Brewster and Blathers at the demand of Isabel to be the perfect, beautiful wives. Along the beach here, we have the women's volleyball team coached by Goose himself, because a Goose might be a woman chaser or a lady chaser, if you will, but he is a bit self-conscious. He was booted off of his last island. And when he came to Stepford, he decided that he would demand the respect that he deserves, no longer be ashamed of his chicken legs, and he would be the personal trainer, and he would be the most fit, jock-like chicken you ever did see. Now, he has a various different classes, weight training classes, balance ball classes, of course, the spin class and the volleyball class, but he also enjoys surfing. You know, if you're gonna do anything for fun, you might as well get fit doing it. Now, Goose is not the only conceited jock on the island. We also have Mac. Mac runs the local hardware store. Now, Mac came to the island because he was absolutely tired of his wife judging him for not helping around the house and constantly, in his opinion, nagging him to be a good husband and father. Now, Mac takes care of the entire town. He keeps care of all of the gardens that you see, and he keeps the grass cut and short, and of course he has a lot of work to do to keep up the aesthetics of Stepford and his terrible disorganization and laziness as shown on his own property there with all of his tools kind of scattered around. No, the beaches of Stepford are very simple. I thought that simple beaches were an extremely NormCore thing to do, so that's how I decorated the beaches, just like palm trees and very generic beach stuff. And of course, we have a play park because Isabel wants to keep up the charade that this is the perfect society, and the perfect society has the nuclear family and is child friendly. Now, around the resident services, we have a little bit of picnic areas, very natural, but also curated in a sense. This is a beautiful island with a beautiful aesthetic that screams tourist tone. So there's a lot of places to sit and relax and enjoy picnics, and CJ is just kind of stuck there, but that's okay. He's enjoying his visit. The local fishing and rivers are perfect for that. Tom Nook works for Isabel, but not all of choice. He has been bribed and contracted for life to be a subservient minion to Isabel, and that includes his clones. Yes, Timmy and Tommy are not his adoptive children. They are his exact carbon copy clones made by Blathers and Brewster to be subservient slaves and groomed to be subservient to Isabel, the fearless leader and the curator of the perfect tone of Stepford. Over here, we have another victim of Isabel's insane ideas. This is Raymond's tax office. No, Raymond was not always Raymond. Raymond used to be the fun-loving, dirty, snack-enjoying, bug-obsessed lion Rex, and Isabel did not like this image for her island. So when he entered the Men's Association, he came out as a tax office accounting cat named Raymond. And as a lawyer, he takes care of all of the domestic issues, and right now Kit is having a domestic issue with Mac because he is absolutely neglecting his duties as a husband, and she is at wit's end. Regardless of being programmed to be a subservient housewife, she can only do so much before she starts wearing out. Now over here we have Marshall's cafe. Now Marshall decided to submit an application to become Brewster's apprentice, but his application was denied because Brewster's not actually a barista. He is a mad scientist masquerading as a barista. So he decided to open up his own coffee shop here on Stepford. But the application process did not go well, and Wilbur, another subservient slave to Isabel's wishes, had lost Marshall on a mystery island tour, but they collected his DNA from his application and used Ed Thorse as a model and reconstructed him into the perfect barista and coffee shop owner for the island. He also runs this ice cream shop because it is always sunny, beautiful flowers, and of course rainbows on the island of Stepford, and it is always a perfect day for a stroll along the beach and some ice cream. The perfect touristy, beautiful town with the bright pastel colors of the beach. Come here, sit on the beach, enjoy the breezes and the crashing of the waves with your delicious low carb ice cream, probably frozen yogurt. It's probably a Frogurt stand. Let's get real, right? Right. Okay. Coming over through and out of the town, we get a little glimpse of the soccer field, another activity that is offered by Goose, and then we can come over the bridge. Over the bridge, we are making our way to the neighborhood. There's a little parkette here for, aesthetics. It's gotta be aesthetic. And we come on this side and we can see the yards and the backyards of the neighbors. Now, all of the women that live in the neighborhood of Stepford are normal. They are normal personality villagers because they have been programmed that way. They have been reprogrammed by Brewster and Blathers to be the perfectly normal housewife. Over here we have Maple's house. No, Maple's house is also Marshall's place. So inside it is perfectly normal, nothing crazy, just a normal inside house. So Maple and Marshall's house obviously has a coffee maker and a nice coffee spot. And of course, the women of Stepford are always baking pies and desserts. So Maple enjoys a beachfront property with Marshall having cute little seatings. Again, the beaches are super, super simple because I feel like that is the NormCore aesthetics. And to this side, this is Fada and Raymond's beachfront area where they get to relax, radio and books and things. Continuing with the simple NormCore aesthetic, we have a few boats, a little dock, so they can go yachting, or, you know, normal yachting, normal behavior, normal stuff. This is Fada and Raymond's place. Inside, again, it is super, super normal, except this time we have an office space for Raymond because he has been reconstructed to be the lawyer and accountant and tax man for the entire island. And he works 24/7 because he has been programmed by Isabel to do so, keeping track of all of the finances and domestic disputes between the villagers. And of course, all of the yards are kind of color coded. Fauna's sporting these perfectly beautiful purple flowers, while Maple has a beautiful blue rose garden. Coming up this way, we have more of the neighborhood, again, catered to their husbands. We have Ava's place, which is also Goose's house, and they have a pool and a barbecue because Goose is the kind of guy that likes to just, you know, sit around in his Hawaiian shirt, doing some barbecue, drinking some beer with the boys. A man's man. And of course, Goose is still absolutely obsessed with exercise. So he has a little basketball there so he can shoot some hoops on his free time. And inside of Ava and Goose's place is a bit of a jock man cave exercise obsessed area. Ava has been programmed to support her husband in all his wishes and demands, and he has an exercise station. That's it. There is no coaches. There is nothing for Ava. She just supports him and his exercise and is first to exercise with him and play ping pong every single day. She is required to make high protein meals and protein shakes day in and day out, and that is Ava's constructed life to be the perfect housewife for Goose. Not all the husbands are helping their wives take care of their homes and their yards. Mac is terrible. He has not maintained his lawn at all. It is going to shambles. And yes, Isabel is not happy about it, but at the same time, he does keep the rest of the island absolutely perfect. And when there is any breakages in any of the homes, he does house calls and he fixes everything in the building, makes sure everything runs. So for now, he is an important member of Stepford. Kit and Max Joy just had a birthday party, and Kit is at her wits' end when it comes to taking care of everything inside the house. It is very much stressed out housewife trying to raise her child and basically treating her husband as a child as well. Kit used to be a beautiful kangaroo with makeup and pretty dresses and just a spark of life. Even though she is reconstructed and programmed to be the perfect wife, Mac has taken her a little too far, and she is starting to deteriorate and malfunction and become extremely stressed out. No, because Ava and Kit do not have beachfront properties. They do have like a little bit of beaches on the side here, but they're pretty simple. They live in front of a ravine. Over here, we have a teddy bear picnic, the perfectly normalist NormCore, and a beautiful ravine that lines their backyard. No, some of the natural landscape of Stepford has been preserved, including these cute little waterfalls, but that isn't the case for everything. A lot of it has been curated and taken out of its natural form. Even though nature is beautiful, it is not always perfect, and in Isabel's eyes, it needs to be perfect. This is the purr cat that comes through to the neighborhood, and of course, a little cute little bench so you can look at it. But this also serves as a pathway to the Able sisters. Now, the Able sisters were orphaned as little hedgehogs, and they have also signed a doomsday contract with Isabel. First, to create perfect Stepford wife designs day in and day out. Only designs that are appropriate and approved by Isabel. Now, their sister Label has not signed the contract and is working tirelessly to get them all. And she comes to the island constantly to try and reach out and save her sisters from the tyranny of Isabel's perfect society. Going with the NormCore aspect, I made an orchard, and that's exactly why I made an orchard. I made an orchard because it was normal and I felt like it was NormCore along with this music area. I did a little bit of research on NormCore islands, not too much. I found out that little music areas are very, very NormCore, so that's why I did this. So coming back down through the orchard, back around to the Able sisters, there is a bit of a secret path over here, and this is where Flora is. Flora lives all by herself in a flamingo sanctuary. Coming over this bridge with the beautiful water landscaping, you can see this perfectly pink flamingo sanctuary. No, Flora is an ostrich. She is an ostrich, but she is so obsessed with flamingos that she wants to be one herself, and she has done everything in her power to transform herself into a perfectly pink flamingo. She's a bit of a bird brain, and there is absolutely nothing stopping her from being the best version of herself. She hasn't been changed by Isabel, because through Isabel's standards, she's pretty perfect on her own, sporting beautiful cutesy pink things all around her house. And of course, just the way she keeps her area is a-okay with Isabel. No, Flora does not necessarily agree with Isabel's tyranny, but she doesn't really know Isabel's tyranny because she's just like way too involved and way too obsessed with her flamingos to even really notice what's going on. But she is a gateway for Grizzly, the outcast of Stepford, who absolutely disagrees with Isabel's idea of a perfect society. Grizzly's family used to own all the land in this area, and slowly Isabel bought off all of the land. But Grizzly is a stubborn bear living on his mountaintop, and he started to see what was going on, and he realized that the citizens of Stepford were acting extremely strange, and he vowed to save any resident of Stepford that might be affected or doomed by Isabel's plan of the perfect society of Stepford. And therefore, he uses Flora as a kind of a gateway to his mountain. He will take villagers that visit Flora in her beautiful flamingo sanctuary and sneak them up onto the mountaintop. Now, Grizzly's cottage is a simple one, not much going on, but Grizzly really enjoys living a simple life, and he really enjoys preserving nature. So he's not an extremely materialistic bear, but he is a very highly moral bear. So when he saw what was going around on Stepford and all of the citizens changing and all of the controversial things happening, he decided to make a partnership with Red. And what he does is he smuggles villagers out of Stepford and puts them on Red's boat. So coming from resident services and coming either side, there are bridges here. And if you come this way, this is the way to the Orchard and the Able Sisters. And then coming back all the way around, we have a bridge here to the beginning of the museum, aka the Men's Association. The Men's Association is extremely prestigious and has all these amazing statues like Stonehenge, beautiful gardens, just these beautiful works of art, making that prestigious entrance just that prestigious. I don't know if I should say it again. It's prestigious. There's statues. It is symmetrical. It is amazing. It is super NormCore. I thought that having a grand entrance to a museum was super NormCore, but we're gonna head over here first, and we'll go up to the Men's Association in just a second. This is the campground. Now, in the DA, there is a tent here, but I accidentally traveled and I was just too, I couldn't. I was like, I can't. I was trying to get a tent. I know I don't have any amiibo cards. I just don't. No, this probably wouldn't have been my first choice in where the campsite would have been, but I totally forgot about the existence of the campsite, and that was really the only space left. So there it is. There it is. All right, to the Men's Association. No, the Men's Association is just that. It's a men's association. It's for men. Men only. It's a boys club, right? No women allowed. And this guy, that's the emblem of the Men's Association. It's the grand entrance to the museum. No, if you are deemed not right for Stepford, you will be brought to the Super I tier Men's Association Club, where they turn you into the perfect version of yourself. And that is Miles. And that is kind of sneaked away. So this is where I think I started failing at NormCore, because it's more like elegant cure, or just like it's very statuey. I feel like this is not NormCore. So here we have a rock garden. No, I thought that a rock garden was a super NormCore thing to do, and this is the first rock garden I ever made, and it's probably the last. Brewster's gyroids, because Brewster is absolutely obsessed with gyroids, and he's used the knowledge of creating all these different gyroids in association with changing all of the villagers that do not comply with the standards of Stepford, and they're just kind of like hanging out, chilling around that face of a man there, because it's symbolic of the Men's Association. And last but not least, we have the main headquarters of the Men's Association. Now, the Men's Association is kind of dark and musty. The smell of cigars, whiskey, and beer. This is just a place for aristocratic men to sit and hang out. Now, all the rooms are pretty similar in their aesthetics. The billiards room, where they come, relax, hang out, and play a few tabletop games, drink beer and whiskey, of course. The lounge room with another billiards table, because you can't have enough billiards table in an aristocratic man's mansion area. Of course, a writing desk, beer, places to sit and smoke those cigars. And the trophy room. Of course, if you're going to compete and be a manly man's man, you're gonna have to have a trophy to prove it. And this is also the TV room. You know, have your coffee, your whiskey, your snacks, and enjoy the game together. But the Men's Association is not just a men's club. It is where the devious acts of changing the residents and their personalities happen. And that's exactly what's going on upstairs. This is the manufacturing / training room, where Brewster takes his knowledge and assembles, trains, and gets ready the residents of Stepford to be the perfect citizens. Now, of course, Brewster is not going to be doing all of this on his own. He has cloned himself and has created the perfect gyroid to oversee all of the training and manufacturing so that the wives of Stepford, when they are set out to serve their husband, have all of the know-how on how to do that. Child rearing, pie making, serving, kitchens, laundry. Over here we have the wall of animal parts so they can pick and choose parts that make the perfect citizen. And of course, they are working on another variation of Kit because her model has been malfunctioning and she's run down. So they definitely need to replace her with a better model that can take the stresses of having Mac as their husband. And now we have one last room for this tour. As we know, Isabel is the mastermind behind all of the ongoings of Stepford. Without Isabel, none of this would happen. Brewster and Blathers would not have a place to practice their mad scientist ways. Stepford would not exist. But why does Isabel want to create the perfect society? What is her motivation? One does not wake up and just decide that they are going to create the perfect society by replacing people's entire aesthetics and personalities with subservient robots for no reason at all. That just doesn't happen. Right? There's gotta be a motivation for such determination. And that is what is down in the basement. This is a living diorama of Isabel's childhood. Now, it is Animal Crossing lore that Isabel and her brother were left in a cardboard box and grew up in a cardboard box as puppies. Isabel had been abandoned by her parents and they were left to fend on their own in a dark, stormy alley with nothing but each other to hold on to. Isabel felt abandoned and betrayed, and she vowed to herself that no animal will ever suffer the suffering that she had. Isabel vowed that when she grew up, she would create a society where back alleys don't exist for you to abandon your children in, where families stuck together, where women were perfect wives and men were perfect husbands. And she will not stop until she has made sure that no one will go through the pain and suffering that she did as a puppy in that back alley. And therefore, she has strived and she has completed her goals into creating the perfect society of Stepford. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on this island tour. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you enjoyed the adventure. And I hope you enjoyed my attempt to a NormCore island. And I can't wait to see you in the next adventure. Cheers!